the fringe activists who had tried to cancel people for playing the game Hogwarts Legacy is once again at it, and now they have decided they wanted to cancel Korone. A few days ago, as of the recording of this video, Korone had announced that she was going to be playing the game Hogwarts Legacy, the game that was released a couple years ago and is a part of the Wizarding World franchise, and as a direct result, the Harry Potter franchise, although we will talk about how that is different in just a second. However, this shot off a firestorm of people who decided to attack her on Bluesky and decided they wanted to unsubscribe to her based upon some misconceptions about what the facts are about who gets royalties for the game and also some of the content of the game. However, in this situation, and like before, some of the comments with this person in particular saying, quote, Korone is scheduled to play the Turf Wizard game. Unfollowed, unsubscribed, I make no exceptions. You support turfs, it's over for us, no exceptions. Keep in mind, in fact, some of these people who are on Bluesky that have been fringe and have gone out of their way to shame people who have played the game are unwilling to even say the name of the game that they are talking about. But this got one particular person, Nizor Nakaya, who has been adamant about what they feel about the particular situation, saying, quote, may her head roll, genocide supporter. This has been the most highlighted comment that people who have been talking about this on X, like Grums, have been talking about when discussing this situation. However, this is not the first time that this particular Bluesky user has been adamant about speaking their distaste for the game and the people who play it, with the X user 8-Bit Tengu highlighting several different instances as to the type of person that this person was, saying, quote, add Korone to the Nazi sympathizer list, folks. And another one as saying, I am pure effing anger today. Do not expect understanding or rational conversation with me today. And if you're a corpo, listen real closely. Support trans people or else. And another one saying, if you are not trans, and frankly, unless you are trans and in the UK, you are not allowed to argue against my words on this matter. My rights were stolen by that B, and Korone has the gall to take money from them. And they have also attacked other YouTubers who have called foul on her words, saying about he saying low effort trash alert. However, this is not the only person that has said something in direct opposition to Korone playing Hogwarts Legacy, as someone else had said, quote, 3 months later and I am tapping the sign. Your dollar directly serves to fund a ghoul who actively works to strip trans people of their rights and identity. I implore you to spend that dollar on a trans person in need or donate directly to reputable charities such as the Trevor Project. Another person saying, I missed a chunk of what recently been going on in the bigotry game sphere a bit, it seems. Had the game franchise and Arthur as muted terms for years now. Harry Potter learned to realize things are bigoted and direct fund bigotry and how easy it is to cut them out of your life. The author directly funds anti-trans hate and has caused laws to be changed that directly harm trans people, so much as directly stating that it is thanks to those buying her products that she is able to do this and sees it as direct support for her actions. Also, not knowing only goes so far, especially as a corporation. There is zero chance the company behind it is unaware of those choices, and whether or not an employee has a choice is irrelevant to this matter. They are speaking on behalf of the company and promoting the product. While no one should wish individual person death or physical harm for this, a career downfall over promoting bigotry is 100% warranted, especially when it's clearly something a company is banking on not mattering overall. They had to have checked the optics and decided this was fine. Another one stating on the Korone playing Harry Potter thing, I'll post a longer write-up, but basically, yes, you are helping hurt trans people and you are at minimum a crap ally if you play this game. No, it is not subjective. Highlighting a Reddit post about who gets royalties and about the death of the author. Now, it's important to note that Wizarding World is owned by Warner Brothers, and J.K. Rowling reportedly does not get any kind of royalties for those parts of the Harry Potter franchise that are of film or TV, or in this case, video games, which she has sold the rights to Warner Brothers as a complicated tree and complicated process in which is not unlike what Marvel had to go through with getting all the rights back from Universal and from 20th Century Fox for their movies to be included in the MCU. However, not everybody that was seeing this was responding this way. Marie Puddingway said, quote, Korone has done nothing wrong. What y'all are doing is stupid and just going to harm all of us together more so than Hogwarts Legacy, a game that you have given power over you. There were some lessons a few years ago y'all should have learned, but you refused to do so, making reference to Pikami and Silvervale, the former of which had, quote-unquote, graduated as a direct result of the harassment she got from streaming the game, which many people had decided to do to some other people who had played the game. Now, this is all stemming from a assumption that J.K. Rowling had espoused transphobic remarks and has been using money that she has gained through the Harry Potter franchise in order to fund legislation that is deemed to be harmful toward trans rights and trans people, even though there is no sufficient evidence to prove one way or another that she has done the latter. However, she has said some things in which she says she has worried about how trans rights have become eroding onto biological women rights, which has led some backlash onto that. Now, before we go any further, let me be real clear about this. There is no place for vitriol or hate or bigotry or death threats or calls to have someone be harmed physically or emotionally or psychologically as a direct result of anything, be it being who you are, playing the video game, or anything like that. We should not be condoning anything like that. So for this one person, this Mizor Nakaya, I think her name is, or their name is, I did not see the pronouns being listed, so I don't know for sure. Please forgive me if I'm not using the correct ones here. But the manner in which they are going and then trying to explain themselves after they are being called out is abhorrent. No matter what you think about this situation, this one person needs to be looked into by Bluesky. And for the record, Bluesky has become sort of this echo chamber, the left-wing version of Truth Social, which if you go any way out of lockstep with the majority there, you are going to get your head handed to you figuratively. Like, you're going to be buried, you're going to get dragged through the mud, figuratively, by these people who seem to not understand basic debating tactics, and we're seeing it through and through. Now, as far as playing the game is concerned, a lot of people are not understanding about the issue of royalties or the issue of whether or not she's getting any kind of money through the enjoyment of the game, whether or not being buying the game or playing the game or anything of that sort, and what she's doing with that money. I said in the monologue as to where she's getting the money from and what she's using the money for, and to my knowledge, there is no concrete evidence that she's using that money for anything like what they're saying that she's using that money for. And though, yeah, I have seen that she has been scared about the women's rights and how the intersectionality has made these two things clash with one another, and everybody has their own take on what they think about her and her words and about this whole thing in general. But I have yet to see her actually support a full-on anti-trans legislation in any form, at least to my knowledge. Somebody might know more than me and am able to say something to that effect as a neutral third party and not somebody who has an axe to grind or somebody who might be completely on her side or may actually be transphobic and think that she is too, or something along those lines. But to my knowledge, she has not really done anything like that. She has said a lot of things on Twitter. Some are trolling, some are her actually saying her piece or her reactions to some of the reactions she has gotten. But no matter what you might think about this idea that she's getting royalties from Hogwarts Legacy in any sort of way, they have to get a little bit more educated about where everything is going before they say that. And they are so adamant that they know better than the rights holders. They know better than the U.S. copyright office or whatever copyright office is saying who has the rights to what. And I am so surprised that X did not community note some of these people who are saying that, oh, she gets money out of every single copy of Hogwarts Legacy that gets sold. She does not do that. We have sufficient evidence to show that that's more or less not the case. And this whole thing that developers are already paid, was disproven by Troy Levitt himself when saying that Avalanche does in fact give generous bonuses to all of their developers. That they did that. That you are in fact supporting developers by buying the game. That is something that never went away. And I'm not sure why some people, and I know some people that were trying to tout this, were not community noted. And there's people who had said this, some of the people who have said this, have since left Twitter for Bluesky and have said the same things over and over again without any check or balances to what they're saying. So I would love to hear their proof as to how they are correct in that. I would like to call them out. Who are you looking at in order to get that information? I'm sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but I think it's about time someone said that they need to be called out. If you see that, check that. Go and say, hey, where are you getting this information from? Last time I checked, she does not have the rights to the games or the shows or the movies. That belongs to Warner Brothers and has been that way for quite some time. And that's because they're using that in order to justify these actions that they have against Pikmin and Silvervale and now Korone. Now we know why they never apologized to Silvervale or Pikmin, is that they still believe this. And they still want to go after people who play this game 2 years after the game came out. How is this still relevant to you? How is this still relevant to you that you feel the need to post stuff like this as if you need to be committed? How does this help trans people by you acting like this? How does this want us to support you? And now, yes, I do support you, but that doesn't mean I'm support people who are unhinged like this. And no, me playing the game does not erode my support for LGBTQ plus people. Me playing this game does not affect anyone's support. I know people who have played this who have absolutely been on board, who have no doubt been an ally. I've known them for years. I know better. And if you think that my support would be eroded because, oh, I played a game, then you should know better too. People like Jim Sterling should know better. Since Jim Sterling was somebody else who tried to say, oh, well, you are no longer an ally if you played this game. No, you are still an ally because, one, no one has actually proven what she's spending money on. Two, the rights and the royalties don't necessarily go to her. And three, look who you're supporting by saying stuff like this. You're supporting somebody like this Mizor Nakaya person who is absolutely saying stuff like this and should be checked, should be reported to Bluesky for stuff like this, because there's no place for this anywhere in the gaming discourse. This is not somebody who should be representing trans people. And if you think she does or they do, then I'm sorry, you are choosing to represent you. No matter what you think about J.K. Rowling or anything of the sort, there's no place for this. And for 2 years now, this has gone unchecked because Bluesky will not do anything about it. They will not do anything about this whole situation with people who act like this the second anyone goes even a smidge out of lockstep with what the groupthink is. I'm sorry, it has to be groupthink. I don't know any other word to describe it. At the very least, some people in Bluesky are in fact calling all this out, saying, hey, this is unnecessary. We can say we don't like J.K. Rowling as much as we want. This is unnecessary. But you have to convince so many people as well that this is unnecessary because there are so many people who have gotten away with it for such a long time without any consequence whatsoever, and they are on platforms which actively will agree with them or will allow it without any form of check and balances. There's no way to community note on Bluesky right now. And I think I might know the reason why, because they might agree with some of the things that they're saying and what they're doing. And say what you want about Elon Musk, but at the very least, there's a way to check some people who are saying stuff on X. And I do agree, Korone did nothing wrong here. Even if you think, oh, well, she was told to do it through HoloLive or something like that. What did she do wrong? Play a game? What did she do wrong here? Did she do wrong because, oh, well, this was a game made by somebody who you have some alleged misconceptions about, or you got told to dislike something from your peers, or you're scared that you are going to be ostracized if you go out lockstep with anybody who is on your side? They were not on your side to begin with. If you decide, hey, You know what? I am against sending death threats to people because they play a video game. And especially when you're saying half-truths and absolute lies about who's getting royalties for the game and who is benefiting from the game being sold, and if developers are getting paid after the fact. Because that whole lie, those 3 lies, have been going on for quite some time. 2 years after the fact, and they're still believing that she got royalties for this game. That Avalanche did not give bonuses to the developers. They still believe this. No wonder Pikmin did not get a apology for what happened there. They still believe it. They still believe they did the right thing there. Yes, Silvervale did get harassed for playing the game specifically. Yes, Pikmin did get harassed for playing the game specifically. And now, yes, Korone is getting harassed. Yes, harassed for playing the game specifically. Because these people do not know any better and will never know any better unless somebody says something. This is abhorrent. They should not be happening. Yet somehow it continues to happen. And no, I know I'm not perfect either, but at least I'm not doing this crap. And yes, at some point in time, yes, I will publish my playthrough of Hogwarts Legacy on my arcade channel. Who's going to stop me from doing it? Absolutely nobody. You know why? Because I believe that a video game should not dictate how I feel about groups of people. I've said it the same way for years. I will continue to say it for years on end. And the reason I feel comfortable playing the game is because I don't think like these people. And no, calling people out does not say that I hate trans people or that I'm any less of an ally. Neither is playing a game of any kind, because I know where the line is drawn. But that's just my thoughts, as passionate as they are. What are yours? Please give comments down below, and I will see you next time. Please stay true to mental health, and I will see you for the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for future videos. As always, to be continued.